Welcome to this short demo on how to do your wonderful painting project. This lovely watercolor brush, which is called, well, it has different names. Sometimes people call it a portable watercolor brush. They call it an aqua brush because what happens is you can unscrew carefully, and inside you have a little reservoir where you will add water so that you have water with you all the time as you work with this brush. So that makes it a really wonderful portable watercolor brush. Using your sponge, wet it really, not too much, just a little bit, and wet your paper so that it's just a little wet, not soaking, sopping wet, but just give it some water. And then what I do is with the same sponge, or even with the brush you have, dip it in the water and pick any color you like. I will pick green. Don't put too much water on the actual little wells because then they start getting mushy. And you can see that when I put my color down, the paint starts to spread really, really nice. Sometimes I even put the paint on there and I'll pick up the brush and let the paint just kind of drip down. It creates a really nice dripping effect. The other lovely thing to do is with your sponge, I'll pick up the paint and give myself some texture and start adding orange. And really what happens is, because it's watercolor, this is the beauty of it, is that it'll spread and give you a different background. So one of the things I would recommend is that once you get your colors that you like, take a tissue and wipe the inside out a little bit while it's still wet to kind of give yourself a space where you're going to actually draw. So you have a little bit of white showing through. So you're going to have this really nice, what we call a background or a wash. Make sure it's not too heavy, not too dark, so that when we start coloring, because we're going to use our color pencils here, you have a nice space to color your beautiful painting. I'm going to show you how to use your portable aqua brush. So because it's got water in it, if you squeeze a little bit over your paint, you'll see that it drops water right onto your paint. Right onto your paint. So then I can grab water. This is why it's good to have this, because you can carry it with you and have water with you constantly. So that when I start to draw, whatever I'm going to draw, it does such a lovely job. Beautiful, huh? And then even if I want to have a sponge with me, I can just use the sponge, push again on the body of the brush, and the water comes out and kind of cleanses it off. So you can pick a different color, pink. Pink with a little purple. It's going to give you some basic tips and basic guidelines on how to draw a face. So we start with a pencil, very light. And I'm going to just, in this area that I left kind of white, I'm just going to do a little oval, like an egg. I'm going to turn my paper for a minute and then I'll let you see it. Okay. That is the beginning. Of course, our shapes of our faces are all different, but let's just start here. So take that oval and find the middle and draw a little line going this way and a middle going this way. And right here on the first line I drew, I'm going to draw 2 circles, and this is the place where our eyes actually sit. Our eyes do not sit up in our forehead like we did when we were in kindergarten. Remember that? We always wanted to draw our eyes up here and then our hair up here, but our eyes are literally in the middle of our whole head. Then if I take the line that I just drew in the bottom of the face, I make another line, find the middle, kind of eyeball it, and that is where the bottom of our nose is going to go. So that gives you a couple of guides just to get you started on the positioning of our features. The eye is going to have a line that starts kind of a third of the way up. That will create the eyelid. Then the bottom starts here. Now our eyes are usually pretty wide on our head, and they get close to this part of our face. But you want to make sure that there's the same amount, another eye width in the center to separate both eyes, which means the width of this eye has to be the same in the middle. That gives you a definite positioning for your second eye. You don't want your eyes to be too far apart, and you don't want them to be too close together. So by measuring the width of your eye in the middle, like a third eye, that gives you a correct proportion and a correct placement of it. So then I will do the eyelid. And of course, you're going to do this according to whoever you're looking at or whatever picture or photograph you're copying from. And then I'll do the eyelid for this one and the bottom. And we just kind of line them up and give this person, this face, an eyebrow. Now the noses are very hard to do. I'll be honest with you, this is the hardest one for students. So I always start with a little ball or a little little button, and right there I'm going to then add a little loop. This is where the nostrils will go. And you'll look at your model's nostrils and decide, if it's their shape. And then from there I go up and create the bridge of our nose. And then of course erase your guidelines. As you start placing things, it's good to get rid of your guidelines. Now, here's the other trick that people sometimes aren't really aware of. Where does your mouth go? And how big is your mouth? We're so used to drawing these little bitty mouths, but if you take an imaginary line from the center of the eyeball, bring it all the way down on both sides, the width of your mouth is going to go from this line all the way to this line. And people sometimes get confused thinking there's no way my mouth is that big. Trust me, some of your mouths are that big. Your mouth is that wide, I should say. And then I'll erase my guidelines again, because I don't want those showing before I start coloring. And there you have it. This is basically the location in the correct placement of your features. If you want to add your ears, you take your eyebrow line, the bottom of your nose, and that will be where your ears normally will sit. Maybe not that big. And then of course this part is our hairline. So whatever your hair looks like, whatever your model's hair looks like, that's where their hair will be. And make sure you give them a neck. A lot of students forget the neck. And then you start shaping the face. And most of us have pretty round faces, maybe round cheeks. So you'll start kind of creating the shape of the face of the model you're drawing and give them that look so that we can tell it's them. Of course, if it's okay if they don't look like them. Again, faces are hard to draw, so if you feel like you want to do a cartoon face, that's fine. If you want to do a Pablo Picasso face, that's perfect. Whatever you want to do. Once you get the basic drawing in, then it gets to be fun, because now you're going to color it in, and you can start anywhere you want. I also included some really beautiful, some nice color pencils that you can use to start coloring in your model. And don't be afraid, color it in all you want. Give it a unique shape, a unique color, make it fun. For some reason I like to start with the mouth. It just gives me a good place to start. And you'll just continue to work on this until you get everything colored in. And then you know what? Be crazy. Add some fun stuff. I always tell people, make sure you include their necks and their shoulders. And But have a lot of fun with this. I sure hope you guys enjoy it, and send me pictures of what you're drawing so that I can share them with everybody else and we can see your beautiful artwork. Don't be shy, share what you have. And again, I can't wait to see what you guys do. Bye now. Have so much fun. Love you all.